Now, I need to have a word with Imminence, okay? Because for this album, which I can now fucking talk about, for the rollout, I've known about the singles before they've been released. You know? I've been sent them in advance. Sword That Never Bends. Sent it like a week early. Unbelievable. The one that dropped like yesterday, False Light, almost forgot the name, was sent it a couple of days ago. This one, they surprise dropped it. I didn't even know about it. I broke bread with these guys, with these men. Not even that long ago, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And this is what they do to me. And I have to find out about this like everyone else. You're better than this, Imminence. You're better than this. Crestfallen, let's do it. Came out like a couple hours ago. This is like a day after.
Did I let you down?
Oh.
Did I wear a
If this is a great song, you're getting forgiven, lads. Don't worry.
make you feel something so?
Doomsday. The Architects comparison, sorry. That's a Doomsday inspired riff.
Is your image of me tainted? The picture that I painted, blind to all the warning signs right in front of me. Words become whispers in the wind. The air feels colder on my skin. Couldn't see the forest for the trees. How well you remember me. Did I let you down? Did I wear a crown? Did I make you feel something so real?
It's so pretty. Oh, they're like, "Wah." That's very Imminence. That little like drum fill transition. Bass line comes in. Edward Burchikins! Oh yeah. Subtle tense, not intentional.
Did I make you feel something so?
Oh, it's so pretty. Oh. This is going to be a really dynamic, varied album from what we've heard so far. I've heard... Okay, there's so many things to talk about because we now have confirmation that Axis, is that how I say this? Axis Mundi is official. Imminence are dropping a new album. Now, I was in a weird position because obviously there was going to be a new album, regardless of any inside information. Of course, when they start, like when they signed to Sumerian, they drop a single, big budget on the video, then another big single with False Light. It's obviously leading to an album. But because I knew there was an album coming, I didn't want to talk about it because it felt like I was talking out of turn, because I knew there was an album, even though I would have been talking about an album coming out if I didn't have confirmation from Imminence, because I would assume that. But because I actually knew they were going to drop an album announcement, I was like, right, I'm not going to say anything about the album announcement. But when I was hanging out with the Imminence fellas in Lisbon, they played in the MEO Arena, with like the most random fucking lineup of all time. It was like Marilyn Manson, Mastodon, Megadeth, who didn't actually even play, which was kind of hilarious, Converge, and maybe one other band that I'm forgetting. But they played there and I hung out with the boys. And I knew about this album dropping. Again, it was kind of obvious because we'd seen the first single drop. They signed with Sumerian. Like, what else are they doing? They're not just fucking dropping singles and not going to put out an album. And it was about time they'd started releasing new music and putting out an album since The Black in 2024. So we knew about all this. And I've heard like what? So I've heard the first song, The Sword That Never Bends. I've heard False Light now, which just came out like fucking, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I can't even remember. And then this song now. And the album comes out in October. So there'll probably be like another 2 or 3 singles. And I've heard the outro track on the album, which I don't know how happy I am about knowing what that sounds like, because the outro song is such an important part of an album. Now, I don't remember it fully because it was just a once-off thing. I was a few beers deep and Eddie was like, hey, Drew, want to hear the new song or want to hear the final song on the album? And I wanted to talk about that in the False Light video, but obviously then I'd be spoiling that there's a new album coming, so I couldn't talk about it. So I'll talk about it now. I have a clip, which I guess I'll use for my actual reaction to that song because it's my actual first-time reaction. I did record my first-time reaction with the headphones on, so I don't have the audio available to me. I just have me reacting to it in my headphones. But I got to hear that song, so I've heard the final track of the album. No spoilers for that. So I've heard a big portion, and I probably will have heard a big portion of this album because, again, the video that they dropped yesterday is a storyline, and it's leading from The Sword That Never Bends. And it looks like the story is only getting going, and they're obviously going to conclude the story at some point within this album cycle, which means we're probably going to get at least 2 or 3 more singles to conclude the storyline. So I don't know how long the album's going to be. Maybe it's on Spotify already. We can actually double check that right now. Like, I have technology at my fingertips, literally. I can do that right now. Let's see if the album is like up on Spotify. It is. And we have the track list. Okay, so I've heard track number 2, The Sword That Never Bends. I've now heard Crestfallen, which is track number 4. False Light, which is track number 5. Exodus is the track that I've heard, the final track on the album. And then there's what? Going to be like another 6 or 7 songs? 6, 7. Sorry, 29 years of age, pushing 30. Can't help myself. So I've heard a big portion of the album already. And we'll probably get 2 more singles. So like me on album day is probably going to be like, oh, why do they release all the singles? But it is my fault. Eddie did give me the opportunity to opt out of listening to Exodus, but like you can't turn down the opportunity. Song is sick. Can't wait to hear it again in the context of the album. That's all I'll say. But this is really interesting. I love what they've done with this release. It really reminds me of when Sleep Token did this, because it kind of like makes the week all about Imminence, because it's like, oh, we're dropping a single. Oh my God, Imminence dropping a new single. This is amazing. The first one was so cool. And then they're like, you know what? We ain't done, little bro. Another single the day after. And it's like, wait, this is something big is brewing here. Now, I don't appreciate that I didn't know about it, okay? I don't appreciate it from the lads because I thought I was in the in crew, but apparently not. I'm joking, okay? But I do like that they've done this. The only thing I'll say is this would have been so much cooler if they added more context with another video, because people are invested in the storyline now. If we got like another video, like the way Sleep Token did it with the visualizers. This one is a visualizer, of course, but it's like less lore based. It's just like a still frame of a chest, like an armor knight piece or whatever. So because we got left on a cliffhanger with the storyline in yesterday's video of False Light with the dog following the guy through the forest or whatever, it would have been like, I'm kind of waiting. I want to see what happens now. So you would assume that it's going to be in like a couple of weeks' time that we'll get the next version of that or the next part of the story. But instead, they drop it the day after. So it's like, oh my God, we get to know already. It's cool. It's a surprise factor. But they've not done that. Now, let's get back to music because I've been yapping for like fucking 10 minutes without actually even talking about the music. But there's so much else happening around this. Song is I don't know if I prefer it more than the Sword That Never Bends, but like I said in yesterday's video for False Light, it's definitely a lot more up my street. This is, I think, going to be the perfect middle ground for those who really like Imminence's old stuff, even from the Black, because people have been really like saying that Imminence have like gone down this commercial route now ever since they signed to Sumerian because of how their new music sounds. And I think this is the perfect blend. I think this kind of sounds like a middle ground of where they're going and where they've come from with the Black. It has the kind of more epic, maybe less over the top version of Imminence that we're getting with the new stuff, and more stripped back, more about the kind of, I guess, the symphonic nature of it, having the violin and the more chilled section, but it also has riffs in it. The opening riff, I don't want to keep harping on Architects. Imminence have always been compared to Architects, but Jesus, that's the most doomsday riff ever, you know? And that's, you know, a lot of modern metalcore bands are influenced by that era of Architects, and I don't blame them because it's incredible, but that riff particularly sounds very doomsday. I like that they didn't like continue that riff, because it would have been like, oh my God, this is like doomsday with violins. They like kind of touched on that riff at the start, which is a cool intro, and then they expanded on it. And the vocals, I think, at the end are the real selling point for me. I'm going to love those vocals. I know that's going to really, like, once I have a little bit more time with that song, it's going to sink in, and I'm going to be like jizzing over that. Sorry to be crude, but it's the first word that came to my head, and probably the most appropriate word. So another great song from Imminence. Again, love what they're doing. Love the new aesthetic with the kind of like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Vikings, Game of Thrones thing they have going on visually. And then the music is experimental for them. It's not landing in every department for me right now, but I think it's going to bring in a bigger audience for Imminence, which is great. But it's also going to, from this song, appease to some of the older Imminence fans as well, because I'm certainly, I guess, one of the older fans based on the fact that I've been listening to them since... I caught them after before the Black started. So like Temptation, but like I didn't get in when Temptation dropped. I just remember that was my first song. So I've been listening to them for a while now. I understand that they've had different eras, and I think this is a very interesting era for Imminence. I think they have a lot of potential to just like really explode with this. Again, I like that it's not exactly the Black again. It's really expanding on the Black sound. It's adding in like kind of more pop elements in a way. It's getting a little bit more octane core in moments, but also is, from this song, still quite riffy and still experimental and still trying to push their sound forward. And I'm going to burp, but at this point I am just yapping. So we're going to end the video. Leave a like in the video if you did enjoy. What song do you prefer the most? This one obviously doesn't have the big grandioso video with it. I feel like this would have been a cool video. This song would have been a good... interesting. This song would have been a good video. Oh, I've done it again. This song would have been a good song to have a video with it. Fucking hell. I should have just wrapped it up. But we didn't get it, so it's fine. But again, let me know what you think. Which song is better? Sword That Never Bends, False Light, or this one? I'm gone. Leave a like. Love yous. Take care. Subscribe. Cheers. Bye.